towards Sri N. Harihara Subramanian sir. He is a social activist who has been serving the people since he was a young guy like all of us. He joined the Swami Vivekananda Education Society at the age of 25 and became the honorary administrator of Jaigol Garodia Vivekananda Vidyalaya and served it with the distinction of for 10 years. He then founded the Mother India Foundation in the year 1999 to broaden the service activity towards the state and nation. He is the founder trustee of Networking Development Center for Service Organization, which is an umbrella organization synergizing more than 1,000 NGOs in Tamil Nadu. Apart from this, Sir is the trustee of Swami Vivekananda Rural Community College, which is recognized as a model institute drawing attention from all over the world. He is also a key participant he has also been a key participant in development of value education program for children, which was introduced in 350 schools in Chennai and over 2,000 schools in India. He has also worked with Sri Nanna Hazareji in India Against Corruption and has been a passionate social worker for the country. Welcome, sir.
And it gives me a great pleasure to be amidst you. And I take this opportunity to thank Professor Dr. Tiwari for his quick presentation of Swami Vivekananda's lifeline, so that we get rekindled with the great Mahan's life. So thank you for this great opportunity. And this is a wonderful day where both Hanumanji and Swami Vivekananda is getting remembered. And I have a lot of similarity between these two personalities. If at all, we can compare Swami Vivekananda with anybody else, there's only some Hanumanji who comes to our mind, maybe 4,000, 5,000 years back during the Ramayana. He carried the same wisdom of Swami Vivekananda, the strength of Vivekananda, the mental, physical, and the spiritual strength of Swami Vivekananda. It's nice that today we are celebrating both these great, what I could say, icons of India, and I getting an opportunity to interact with Think India. It's very beautiful. I've been in the social work, as you rightly said, from the age 25, trying to find answers for India's, not all that impressive growth. I was trying to find out where things are really going wrong. And then I was into villages, I was into education, and I was into social work. And after about 25, 30 years of all these, continuous search, I came to a conclusion that we don't have any dearth for knowledge or wisdom or wealth in this country, but we are getting invariably bogged down by extraordinary visionary leadership not available in the state and in the country on a continuous basis. So unless and otherwise we sort this out, this country is not going to reach the pinnacle that it was once known for about 1,000 years ago. So as Swami rightly at some point of time, give me 100 men and I will change this entire world. So I think India requires extraordinary visionary leaders who can shape the future of the nation. And in 2014, I thought of establishing the first Indian Institute of Governance. I'm happy to say that it has made a lot of progress. And this Governance Institute, first of its kind, is going to, if all goes well, is going to be part of Swami Vivekananda's global monument, which is scheduled to come up near Udupi, being put up by the Ramakrishna Math of Bailur. So I'm sure in the next 4 or 5 years, leaders will come out from this institute and they will plunge into the political, area of the country. And for them, country will come first. They will not be party affiliated, and they will work for the country and with the ideals of Swami Vivekananda and all the wisdom ingrained in them, which there is no dearth in the history of 5,000 years of this country and that of the world. So we are likely to bring about revolution by bringing revolutionary, visionary leaders for the country, and I look forward to that golden age. And with that, coming to Swamiji, I will tell you that this country has produced the last 5,000 years great saints. I mean, we can go on listing them. It should be nothing less than 2,000, 3,000 men of and women of yeoman, courage and wisdom. But I would say that Swami Vivekananda, in him imbibes the joint wisdom of all these people. And that is something very, very unique. And he is one who had the greatest opportunity to, move thick and thin with Swami Paramahamsa, who was actually looking for him. And then when he found his joy, was no bound. And he was personally groomed by no other person than Paramahamsa, who, did a lot of practical experimentation with all the religion and told the world that all religions take us to the same truth. So under that sort of spiritual leader, Swami Vivekananda got his grooming in the initial days, which seemed to have helped him in widening his horizons. And his traveling all over the country, really helped in seeing the ground realities. So his heart was all the time yearning for the poor, and he was all the time thinking how we can raise the status of the poor in this country. Maybe by giving our spiritual strength and spiritual wisdom to the Western world and taking in turn the wealth and the industrial, inputs from those countries and probably the modern education. So that prompted him to go out and then reach out to other countries. And we know how he was received, even though there were initial hiccups. Once he spoke in Chicago, then he was the figure of the entire last 2 decades of the last century. And in spite of very poor, communication that prevailed and the travel facilities that prevailed, if you look at the amount of travel that Swamiji could do and the amount of writing that he could do in the last 20 years, I don't think any leader, spiritual or otherwise, could attain. And he has left behind so much for all of us to ponder over and raise ourselves and raise the nation and raise the world. In this pandemic situation, where the countries are spending millions and millions of rupees in developing vaccines and importing vaccines, to see that the people are out of these pandemic. This country, I would say that it has produced one of the most powerful vaccine, universal vaccine in Swami Vivekananda, which we have, I'm sorry to say that we have really failed to make use of. We declared Swami Vivekananda as an icon and started celebrating Youth Day from 1985, which the UN followed suit in 1999. And we have built a lot of statues, and Ramakrishna Mission is trying to spread the message of Swami Vivekananda and Paramahamsa throughout the country. But still, the sorry state of affair is that Vivekananda has not reached the hearts and minds of every youth in this country after almost 150, 160 years of his coming into this earth. So this is something which I strongly feel we should immediately set right. this vaccine of Viveka vaccine, I would call it, need to be administered to every youth in this country. Every child should get to know about him as part of the curriculum, and the clarion calls and the thought process of Swami Vivekananda need to be given to every one of them, and that should be our immediate motto. And it should also reach out to other countries. For example, I got this vaccine into me at the age of 18, 19, and it has done so much of miracle in me in developing my body, my mind, and the spirit. And I started contributing the moment I started reading and having got that injection at the age of 18, 20. So anybody who is in the public sphere, including our great Prime Minister, Sir Narendra Modi, they all are injected with this vaccine of Paramahamsa and Narendra during their younger days. So I think if we can do that systematically, as the country is, putting up a roadmap to inject about 20 crore, 30 crore people in the next 1 year, I think we should bear in mind that I think equally important is to take the message of Swami Vivekananda and his teachings to every child and every youth during their development days. And I'm sure once this is done, every one of them, will fight all the diseases that are threatening their body, mind, and spirit, and develop themselves as wonderful citizens, contributing citizens for the country. And with that, I think the country will see a new order, because I firmly believe that the most important wealth of a country is its manpower. It is its human resources and not the GDP. Once you focus on your human resources from the very childhood days and develop them as good citizens, automatically everything will follow. You will see that the GDP goes up, the crime rate falls down, and there is peace and harmony in the family. And I know there will be joy everywhere, which will be so contagious that it will spread throughout the world. So the best thing would be to ensure that Swami Vivekananda, from statues, it is taken into the souls of every individual. And this, we need to take it as our primary responsibility as individuals, as organizations, and also as the state and central government. And the governance institute that we are proposing, the curriculum will be heavily centered around Swami Vivekananda's teaching and the wisdom of this nation and the wisdom that will be culling out from the world developments over the last 2,000, 3,000 years. So that's going to be a big experiment which we are going to do, and then develop wonderful leaders for the country. And I'm sure they will come in and then start serving the nation and bring in a big difference. So with those few words, I'm open to any question, because I would love to interact with participants in case you have some questions. Otherwise, I think I have said enough about Swami Vivekananda, and he brings in all the wisdom of this country. I think we need not look into anybody else, but to only Swami Vivekananda, and he will certainly lead the entire, not only the country, but the world to a new order, which is full of strength, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
Over to you.
Thank you so much. If the participants have any questions, they can put it in the chat box. We will take up one by one.
Anand, now you ask questions. Nobody's asking them. You ask questions. Being host, you have is your responsibility. Complete the formality of conducting session. Correct?
Okay, if
Right,
there are
sir,
no
right.
questions, then I would like to, extend my speech for a few more minutes because I have not quoted Swamiji extensively in my 15 minutes of presentation. So I'll take a couple of few more minutes and then let the speaker, I'll let the participants think about some questions because I always really feel that this interaction is much more important than somebody sitting here and then talking about what he thinks. So let the participants take a few minutes because I carry with me about 35, 40 years of my experience with the country. So I'll be very happy to answer a few of their questions. And I would love to say that in the short span of 2 decades, I'm not able to think of anybody else who has come out with 10,000 pages of thoughts. Every sentence and every page, if you can research, you can write a research paper to that extent. He has, gone through our, ancient wisdom and related the whole thing to the current, ground situation. And he has come out with such wonderful material which will keep the entire humankind busy for the next 1,000 years. We need not refer to any other material to guide ourselves as an individual, as a family person, as a saint, or as an administrator of the country. So such is his greatness. And a couple of things I would love to communicate. He said the heaven is reached, the God is reached, or more through football in the playground rather than the books, which is very important. This nation should facilitate a lot of playgrounds so that the youngsters, the youth, spend a lot of time in playgrounds and make themselves strong, which is the most important thing for the strength of any country. If a person is strong, everything else will come. He will not entertain any negative things. So country should now today, knowledge is available in your fingertips. It is available in your laptop. It is available in your cell phone. You have to search and safeguard yourself and look for the right. Give a lot of prominence for personality development and sports, and more and more such efforts need to be taken by the country. And another thing is that this country is a wonderful country which has hosted every other religion. And so this is truly a nation which can show the right example to the world, as Swamiji rightly said. He says that India is so uniquely placed. It has hosted, it has, stimulated every other religion, and today it can set the right example to the entire world by synthesizing all these religions. And he goes to say that we should imbibe the physical and mental strength of Islam, the charity and service from Christianity, and the spirit of the soul from Hinduism, and the inquiry from Buddhism, and valor from Sikhism. And if you can bring in all these things into every human being here by synthesizing and synergizing, India will automatically become the numero in the world, and then it can inspire the entire world and other nations too. So there cannot be a better formula for the future of this country. We have to take everybody together in our progress, which I'm sure our PM is doing it. And I certainly look forward to in the next 10, 15 years, India becoming not only a spiritual leader, but a world leader in everything, and will be a great, stabilizer and equalizer in bringing peace and harmony to the world. And that is the power of Swami Vivekananda, which we need to leverage. And I'm sure we will do that in the years to come in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you, Anand. Thank you.
Uh, uh, there are some. Mr. Nikhil Mehta has asked a question.
Yeah.
What was Swamiji's view about dealing with ethical dilemmas?
Dealing with
Ethical dilemmas, sir.
practical dilemmas,
Ethical.
Ethical.
ethical dilemmas. Okay. See, actually, Swamiji, was very particular in whenever you have any ethical dilemma. He wanted people to, consult the inner consciousness. Two ways the dilemmas can be, sorted out. One is by referring to our spiritual texts and dharmic books. If that is not available, you ask yourself, the inner self, what you're going to do or what you're planning to do is right. Is it good for everybody? Is it harmful? By these two methods, he said that we can, sort out the dilemmas. If there is still any, you have issues, then you can always consult people who have more wisdom, and then get back to the board and take your decisions. Thank you.
I hope,
Yes.
Mr. Nikhil Mehta, your question is answered. Uh, I don't think there are any more questions, sir. I would like to ask one question to you.
Yeah.
Uh, Swamiji taught us about tolerance, about how we should love and serve our neighbors, and how we as humans should be tolerant. But considering the recent issues like the border disputes and all, where shall one draw the line?
I think we call him Veera Turavi in Tamil. So I don't think he will preach tolerance at one cost. So he is a very bold person, and he has always stood up in his own life to face the situation squarely. We know many incidences. So I think we have to go through the process, the step one, step two, step three, and if it is required, we need to, take to arms to call out any indiscipline in the border, as we have rightly done after the Pulwama, episode, and the Pakistan has to now declare that it has resulted in the elimination of 300 terrorists. I think that is the only way we can, and we need to reach out to all those culprits who are hiding in Pakistan, I would say, and then eliminate them systematically, as US was bold enough to do it in the last few years. I think we have an agenda there, which I'm sure the government will complete. A lot of people are still enjoying freedom there, or that need to be looked into, and we need to work on that also. Swami Vivekananda would certainly bless and love such bold ventures from India, and India need to come out, because today's strength is respected in the world. So we need to become stronger, and he is always a very strong icon, who celebrated strength in every walk of life. So we need to face things
Right,
boldly.
right, sir. Right.
Thank you, Anand.
Uh,
Thank you.
Manu sir, if you want to add anything.
Actually,